Now we're going to be looking at axis of symmetry and the vertex. So again, we're going to be talking about the vertex, but I'm going to give you a new formula of how to find the axis of symmetry. Now, axis of symmetry, I'll show you on the diagram, is, in this case, this line here, which acts like a mirror. Okay, so this is the halfway point of the parabola, and make sure that this side is symmetrical to this side. Okay, so this line here acts as a mirror. Okay, so that's why we call that an axis of symmetry. Now, for any type of quadratic equation that's in the form y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, the axis of symmetry formula is given by this. Okay, x equals to negative b on 2a. So it's a very simple formula, so it's not a big one. And b, you should know that it's the coefficient of x, and a is the coefficient of x squared. Okay, so very simple. Now this one is x equals 2. Okay, so the reason for it becoming x equals 2 is because it's a vertical line. Okay, and we know that vertical lines have an equation form of x equals to something, don't we? That's why it's like this. Okay, so spend a few more minutes memorizing this formula, because we're going to be using this for the next few questions. Okay, so x equals to negative b on 2a. Let's try some questions. Question 31a. Find the axis of symmetry of y equals to x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, well, all we need is our formula, x equals to negative b on 2a. So we know that b is 2, which is the coefficient of x, and a is 1, which is the coefficient of x squared. Sub it in. So b is 2, a is 1, that becomes negative 1. So our axis of symmetry is simply x equals to negative 1, okay, which is given by this line over there. And that's it. So very, very simple, isn't it? Now b, it says find the vertex. Now guys, remember how the axis of symmetry is the midway point of a parabola, isn't it? So if this is the parabola and this is the axis of symmetry, this line actually passes through the vertex, because this is the vertex, isn't it? Yeah? So because this is the vertex, we can find what the x coordinate of that vertex is, because we can use our x equals to negative b on 2a formula. This gives us the x coordinate of the vertex. And once we use this formula to find the x coordinate of the vertex, we can substitute that point back into the original graph or the equation and find the value for y, which is the y coordinate of the vertex. Okay, so I'll just show you what I'm going to do in this question. In part A, we found that x equals to negative 1 is the axis of symmetry, which passes through the vertex. So negative 1 is the x coordinate of the vertex. So all we need to do now is find the y coordinate of the vertex. And all we need to do is just substitute that back into our equation. So I'm going to substitute x equals to negative 1 into these positions like this. Just sub it in, and you should get negative 4. Just spend some time calculating that one. And therefore, y is negative 4, x is negative 1, so therefore the vertex is simply negative 1, negative 4. How easy is that? So if I we'll go on to part C first. Find the y-intercept of this one. Y-intercept is pretty easy. Just sub in x equals to 0 and you should get negative 3. So the coordinate is 0, negative 3. And then, yeah, I'll just put that in, and yep, this is the vertex. I should have put that earlier, but anyway, that's the vertex passing through negative 1, negative 4. And that's the y-intercept. And therefore, in part D, if I want to sketch the graph, all I need to do is join those points. And that's it. So I don't really think I need to worry about concavity. The x-intercepts, I didn't actually find that, because that's not really important in this section, but I'm pretty sure you guys can go ahead and find that yourself in your exam, right? So make sure you're labeling all your intercepts in your actual exam. But I just wanted to show you the point of the axis of symmetry in this section, so I won't go through in detail about that. Okay, so have a look. That's pretty much it. So we'll try question 32. Find the axis of symmetry for this particular equation. Okay, again, just use your x equals to negative b on 2a formula. And you should know that b is the coefficient of x, which is negative 4, and a is the coefficient of x squared, which is just 1. So sub those values in, just like that. Negative negative will become a positive, so it will be 4 on 2, which is just 2. So x equals to 2 is our axis of symmetry. I'm just going to place that on our graph. Now B, find the vertex. Okay, we got our x coordinate of the vertex, so substitute that value into the equation to find your y value. So substitute x equals to 2, just like this. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3. Calculate that, you should get negative 1. So our vertex, the coordinates of the vertex will simply be 2, negative 1. Very simple. Okay. So I'll just plot that in, that's your vertex. And see the y-intercept, you guys can just do this on your own. Substitute x equals to 0, you should get y as 3. So 0, 3 is the coordinates of the y-intercept. And I'll just sub that in there. Okay, point that in. And of course in part D they will ask you to sketch the graph. So it will pass through the vertex and the y-intercept. So it must be looking like this. Okay, so this is just a piece of cake, isn't it? Question 33, find the axis of symmetry. Okay, just do your normal process. So I'm going to start by using my formula. B is the coefficient of x, which is negative 4. And A is the coefficient of x squared, which is negative 2. So put those values in, just like that. Just be careful. Negative, negative makes a positive. So 4 on 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So 4 on negative 4 is simply negative 1. Okay, so x equals to negative 1 is our axis of symmetry, which I'll just put on the graph, just like that. Okay. And then B, find the vertex. So now we've got our x coordinate of the vertex, just need to find the y coordinate. So substitute x equals to negative 1 into our equation to find that y coordinate, just like that. Go ahead and calculate that, guys. I don't think I need to explain that one. Should be 3. So our coordinates of the vertex is negative 1, 3. Okay, so I'll just place that there. C, find the y-intercept. So sub in x equals to 0, you should get 1 left over. So 0, 1 is the y-intercept. So easy. Just plot that in. That's your y-intercept. And in part D, we'll just sketch the graph joining these 2 points. And you can realize that it's probably going to be a concave down graph because I need to pass through that vertex and go down to meet the y-intercept. And you can also realize that by looking at the equation of the graph, it's negative coefficient of x squared. So it definitely is a concave down graph, just like this. Okay, so that's question 33. So hopefully this is very repetitive, yeah? Question 34, find the axis of symmetry of this particular one. Now, hope you guys can actually try this, but this one is a little bit different because the equation form is slightly different. It doesn't have any x. It has x squared and a constant, but it does not have any x. So, if you'd like, I'll just change this into a form of 2x squared plus 0x minus 4. Okay, I just put a 0 in front of x, so just so you guys keep that usual structure. Okay, just so you don't get confused. So for our axis of symmetry, I'm simply going to use the formula again, but this time b is 0, because the coefficient of x is b, which is 0 in this case. Just like that. And yeah, of course, a is 2. But 0 over anything is 0. Okay, so this axis of symmetry is simply x equals to 0. So in this case, you can stick that in like that, or you can just automatically tell me that the axis of symmetry is 0. Okay, hopefully this helps. Therefore, just that y-axis there, x equals to 0, is the axis of symmetry. Alright. And then B, find the vertex. Okay, we know that x equals to 0 is the x coordinate of the vertex. So I'm going to substitute that value into the equation, just like this. So we'll simply have -4 left over. So the vertex, the coordinates, will be 0, -4. Just plot that in like that. Okay. And then find the y-intercept. Just sub in x equals to 0. You should get -4. Okay, which is actually the same as the vertex. Okay, so we will go to the next part, which means sketch the graph. What I like to do is actually find some x-intercepts, because the graph will actually look like this, yeah? But just to be accurate, I want you guys to find your x-intercepts, just so it's not too wide or it's not too thin. Okay, so to be accurate, make sure you always find your x-intercepts. Okay, I will do this step for you. So I'll make y equals to 0 to find the x-intercept, just like this. I'll divide both sides by 2, well, because this is common. So x squared will be 2, x will be plus or minus √2. Easy, just some easy steps. I just did that for you. So this is positive √2 and this is negative √2. Very easy. Okay, so in this case, the axis of symmetry, or the vertex, sorry, is the same as the y-axis. Sorry, y-intercept. I'm getting mixed up. So y-intercept. Okay, so hopefully these steps are pretty straightforward. Just remember your x equals to -b on 2a.